In 1991, Arlene and Robert Praley went through the difficult adoption process, but they were still extremely excited. Their daughter wasn't just anyone. In fact, at this point, she was already world famous. The person they adopted was 35-year-old Aileen. According to the FBI definition, Aileen was the United States' first serial killer, killing 7 men in just 12 months. This is a story of Aileen Wuornos.
Oh, that's a fun way to start.
That's a fun way to start.
Fun. You're fun.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Perfect. And let's go into our great Wuornos.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
We're just going to
great.
do it in one go.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Not Another Crime Podcast.
I'm Georgia Love.
I'm Sammy Peterson.
I'm a journalist.
I am not. We'll tell you what you're going to do straight away is you're going to listen to this story. That's what we're saying, listener. But if you don't want to listen to our chat up top, you can skip ahead. The timestamp is in the show notes as always.
But today we've got some updates on past cases and stories that we've spoken about.
Yep.
We're not just going to yap on about our lives.
Yep. Not yappity yappity. We
might do a bit of that as well. But do you want me to kick it off with the updates? Right.
Absolutely.
So first update I have is about the Louvre heist.
Yes.
So as we predicted, updates upon updates after we did our episode on it.
Yep.
But the most recent update is my favourite.
It's incredible.
Not just of this story, but of
kind of any update ever.
Of any update ever.
Yeah.
So quick background, if you don't know about the story, $154 million worth of crown jewels were stolen from the Louvre in a daylight brazen heist.
Yep.
The people just openly let themselves in through a ladder lift in high vis, stole crown jewels, went away.
Yep. Georgia got very upset between the definition between the scissor lift and a ladder lift as well.
Exactly. And some people called it a cherry picket. The fucking idiots.
I know what you're talking about.
So the update is that it has been revealed through a review into the security at the Louvre that the password for the Louvre's security surveillance cameras system, the password to turn the security cameras on and off was Louvre.
It's so funny. Louvre 123. It's so funny. How ridiculous. High security.
What do you mean? This is the world's most visited, most famous, most the richest,
the most famous
museum in the world.
Yeah. And your password is
the
Louvre.
name of this Louvre.
It's so funny.
funny.
It's so funny.
It's almost like someone went, well, no one would even try
that's
this.
silly.
But but just do a random assortment of letters is still harder to get.
You can have it written down somewhere if you need to, but just be very careful.
I feel like, though, with their security, even if they had it written down, they'd have it on a post-it next to the keypad we had to enter it.
They cover it slightly, maybe with invisible ink.
It's my favourite update.
It is so funny. And also around this time, and I think it's kind of harder with AI and everything, how much information is true and what's not, because there's been photos of the guys who were... Can you talk about this? Do you know,
yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I've actually been speaking about this at work all week. Every time someone brings it up to me, I say to my colleagues, there's another person. So on the interwebs, two mugshots have been doing the rounds.
Yep.
I'm saying these are the Louvre heist mugshot,
Yep.
like the people who've been arrested. And there's 2 pictures of very beautiful
They're
men.
like models.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, but they are models.
Oh, they are
Is the
actually
thing.
models?
Because they're not the mugshots of the people. They have not released the mugshots. America is the only place that releases mugshots. They have not released the names or images of the people who have been arrested over the Louvre heist.
Their names were Dolce and Gabbana.
Yeah, correct. So
Cabana?
Yeah.
Just a cabana.
Yeah, cabana. You're
the
hungry,
meat.
aren't you? Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking about
Some
them
little
cured
cabana
meat.
sticks.
Oh, now we're talking.
Yeah, twiggy sticks.
Oh, nice.
So yes, if you are one of the people who has also believed and then shared the memes about I can fix him. Because look how hot the guys who stole jewels from the Louvre are.
Yeah.
It's not them.
Yeah,
It's the internet has got you. And
Got your
it
beauty.
makes me a bit sad about the world that people just see something on the internet and believe it straight away.
I know.
I'm
And
not
it's,
judging you for believing it. You see your friend has sent you a thing being like,
Yeah.
oh, look at this. But it's not real.
it's been spread around so widely as well. Like it's and
Everyone
once
thinks
someone picks up
yes.
on that, then it goes.
But isn't that a
everywhere.
bit scary as well?
Yeah.
To think like, if you just send something and you just believe it.
Yeah, yeah. And G-Love, there is also an update on Erin Patterson, the mushroom cook.
Everyone's favourite mushroom murderer.
Everyone's favourite.
Everyone's
Yeah,
favourite.
right.
And there are many of them to choose from.
Many.
Erin Patterson has officially lodged paperwork to appeal her convictions.
Yep.
And the Court of Appeals in Victoria has accepted the paperwork, which means she will have an appeal hearing at some point. It's usually like, kind of months to a year down the track.
Sure.
The grounds for the appeal that she has on, so there's 7 points that are the grounds of the appeal. The first one is that there was a miscarriage of justice when, including the jury, around the jury.
Yeah,
I don't remember the wording of how she said it, but what that is referencing is, and I think we spoke about this in the episode, when the jury was sequestered, which meant they all their phones, everything taken off them for the entire time that they were deciding on their verdict. They could not speak to anyone outside the jury.
Yep. And they stayed down there. They stayed in a hotel pretty much that time, didn't they?
Exactly. Yep. So they would come into the court during the day to discuss the case. By the end of the day, they didn't have a verdict yet. They went into this hotel.
Yep.
It turned out after 6 days, it was discovered that members of the media, prosecutors and lawyers were staying in the same goddamn hotel as the sequestered jury, which is just so dumb.
Yep.
So that is one of the grounds of the appeal is based on that. And she has said, I should be granted a retrial on that point alone.
Yep.
Which is actually a really valid point.
Yeah, sure.
And in my opinion, I think I can't see how they could not go with that, because it's that's dodgy and bad that they did that.
What are the next stages of an appeal like that? So they can't bring forward a new case, can they? But they can kind of bring in new evidence. Is that how that works?
No. So the appeal process itself is they go to the Court of Appeal, which is, I believe, for maybe 3 judges. Sorry, I should have looked that up.
Something like that, yeah.
Appeal judges her lawyers will present the case of why there was a miscarriage of justice.
Yep.
And then the appeals judges then make a ruling based on whether there was a miscarriage of justice.
And whether that sentencing was fair. Is that right?
Well, yeah. So she's appealing against the convictions.
Yes. Okay. Right.
Which means she's kind of saying this whole thing should be thrown out and there should be a retrial.
Yeah.
So on that first point is strong, right?
Yeah.
There was a miscarriage of justice when the jury was sequestered with members of the media and lawyers.
Yeah.
However, then there are 6 more points to her appeal, which in my opinion is very much just what I think of it. Feels like as it keeps going, she doth protest too much.
Yeah.
It's like make your points, make the strong points and then leave it there.
Yep.
Because it goes on. One of the points is just that the prosecution, the people arguing that she did carry out these murders was unfair and, sorry.
Yeah.
I'll look up the proper wording.
Well, also I want to say as well with I want just a little complaint with Stan, which is the streaming service here in Australia. They made a documentary while you were down there during the trial. They made a documentary and it's meant to be a 3-part documentary series. And listen up, Stan, if you are sponsoring us later, this is all taken back. I never even said this and you can't prove it. It's probably AI, this bit. But
you can't prove I said it. You're saying it right now.
I would like to complain because Stan made a series and the first episode came out. I was like, oh my God, amazing.
Within a week of the
verdict.
Sentencing.
The sentencing. And we're like, oh my God, how incredible. But the second 2 episodes have not come out yet.
Still not out.
And it's been later in the year.
Later this year. And it's so annoying.
So annoying. So infuriating.
We were like, how amazing are they?
Yeah.
They turned it around this
so
quickly. It's like, oh, wait, no, the second one's still not even.
Yeah. So they did a really quick job on the editing for the first one.
Yeah.
Pushed it out to get people, I guess, signing up for Stan and everything.
Yes.
Stan, come on.
Stan, more like scam.
Nice one.
Allegedly.
But also if you do, sponsor us later on. All this is taken out.
We'll redact all of this. Right. So one of the points of her appeal, one of the grounds, is that the prosecution's cross-examination of her. So when she took the stand herself, that she was a defense witness, so her own lawyer interviewed her.
Yes.
And then the prosecution gets a chance to cross-examine. Her argument is that this cross-examination was unfair and oppressive.
Right.
Like-
Unfair and oppressive.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what the
Because
whole-
it seems unfair to you.
Yeah.
Of course it seems unfair to
can't
you.
be fair to everyone.
And they're trying to prove your guilt.
Yes, yeah.
It is, there's something at the wording of that to me is so funny that she's like, well, that's unfair.
I don't like this.
I don't even mean to me,
She sits down and won't move.
when
It's
they
unfair.
do
I
that.
don't
It's
like
unfair.
this. Yeah.
It's bizarre. And then another one of the points is that the prosecution's closing address was unfair and incorrect. But the opening
mean
and
to her.
closing the opening and closing addresses are not part of the evidence.
Right. Okay.
So they're there as like a kind of summary.
Yeah,
The
in conclusion.
opening address is this is the case that we will present to you and you must judge based on the evidence put before
Yeah.
you. Then the closing address is we're going to remind you of all the evidence that you saw, tell you what our case is, and you have to go back and decide based on the evidence put forward.
It's like an
what
essay
you think.
structure.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And in summary, just reminding you, this trial's gone for 10 weeks, reminding you what was said
Yeah.
in a summarised way.
Yeah.
And she's saying that they brought up things in that were so. At the start of it, they said the one thing we don't know in this is motive. There is no motive that we can see. We don't know why she did this.
Yep.
And then at the end, in the closing address, they brought up possible motives that could have been.
Yes.
And so her appeal has said, well, you brought up motive in the closing address, but you didn't bring that up in the opening address. It's like, yeah, bitch, because in the last 10 weeks you've changed your story that many times.
Yeah.
It is different now.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just that to me is bizarre that a lawyer has said, yes, yep, that's a point we should appeal on. It just feels like, I don't know, it just feels a bit like desperate, which, I mean, you would be if you're facing life in jail.
Sure,
you probably would be desperate. But I'm fascinated to hear how this all goes. My personal opinion is that she could very, very, very well be granted. In fact, I think maybe she probably will be granted a retrial. Maybe on the jury sequestering bungle.
It's so
itself.
hard though. Like, how do they even get a jury now that haven't?
No, I don't think they would.
Yeah.
You could not do a jury trial for
No.
that again. It is way too high profile. I think that they would then fight for a judge-only trial.
Yeah, sure. No, that would make way more sense.
Yeah, I just don't think they could possibly have
No.
find another jury.
Because everyone knows about it. There's
Yeah,
not.
but like everyone in the world, remember we were
Yeah.
talking about it when we were first doing the story. It was breaking news that like cut into CNN's news in America.
Yeah.
They cut in with live breaking news. The mushroom murderer in regional Victoria has just
Well.
been found guilty.
Yeah. No, it's fascinating. I'm looking forward to hearing more updates on that and the Louvre heist as well.
I know.
Yeah.
So there we go. I would be really interested to hear from anyone who knows the legalities around the appeal system
yep.
or, any lawyers or anything to kind of, I might be sounding really naive in what I'm saying about like, why would you make all these points? And they can say kind of whatever they want in the closing address, if anyone listening has any more insight into that or updates or bit they want to tell me I'm wrong because of such and such, I'm really interested to hear from you.
Yeah, write into sammy@justanothercompany.com.au.
Or you can leave us a voicemail.
Absolutely.
A speak pipe, and the link to do so is in the show notes. So you can literally leave us a voice note. We'll listen to it. We'll play it on the pod.
Yeah, we'll do the mailbag section at the end of this episode, as we always do. But leave us a 5-star rating, 5-star review, share it with a friend. The more you do that, the more we can bring out on
That's
this
right.
podcast. You're supporting the podcast, and we bloody love you for doing that.
Oh, God, we love
We
you.
love you. Watch us on the YouTube if you want to do that.
Yeah.
All the links are in the show notes.
We've got lots of really exciting Thursday treats coming up
We
as well with lots
do.
of guests.
Lots of great guests. We're very excited about that. And also, G-Love, can people follow us?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get into this week's episode then.
Okay.
You want to tell us? Or maybe you could just tell us a little bit more about
How to follow. Oh, that's not what you asked. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Our handle is @NotAnotherCrimePodcast.
Oh, my God. Now, we're going to get into this week's episode.
I'm excited about this one. So there's the new Netflix show documentary about Aileen that
Yeah.
I've chosen not to watch because you
okay.
said you're going to do this story. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, so the new Netflix documentary is absolutely incredible. I really enjoyed watching it. There is also one by journalist Nick Broomfield that's an older one. He had unprecedented access to Aileen, and it is so interesting to watch.
Wow.
And we have to put those links below because it's on YouTube, and I do talk about Nick a lot in
Okay.
this. He's a journalist that, kind of like a Louis Theroux, he's a British journalist that went over and interviewed her when she was
wow.
on death row. And It is absolutely fascinating.
Spoiler alert.
Do you know a lot about Aileen?
I know that she was a serial killer.
Yeah.
I know that the people who she killed and kind of her reasoning for it. I know that the Charlize Theron movie Monster is
yeah.
about her. And just before we start today, I have a joke.
Yep.
What do you call a woman with one leg shorter than the other?
I could never know.
Aileen.
Oh, not Wuornos. Okay.
Get it?
Yep.
Eileen.
That's good stuff.
What do you call a man standing on your doorstep?
I'm not sure.
Matt.
That's some good
What
stuff.
do you call a man hiding in the bushes?
Not sure.
Russell.
Oh, good again.
Yeah, thanks.
I would like to say before we get into this episode that this is a very, very heavy episode. There is a lot of talk about abuse, assault. Like it is a really, really heavy episode. It will be quite triggering. So just a warning before we get into this week's episode.
Should I have saved some of those jokes to pepper throughout for
No,
lightness?
I think you did it right, and people can go back. We'll put the time stamps of those jokes in, so you
If
can
you
go
wanna
back.
listen to- okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Aileen and her husband, Robert, adopted Aileen in 1991 after she was arrested and incarcerated. Aileen saw Aileen in the paper and decided that she could find God. The reason we did it...
It's giving like, I can fix him. No, really, I can.
Yeah. The reason we did it is we want her to know what it feels like to have a family that really cares about her. Aileen told the Tampa Bay Times in November 1991.
I didn't think you actually could adopt someone over
I didn't
18.
think so either. No, I didn't think so. But yeah, they went through with it. I mean, it was a lengthy battle to adopt her, but somehow
So
they
weird.
did.
But while she was already in jail, did you say?
Yeah,
I wonder if that's got something to do with because she was in the care of the state. Someone else could
perhaps.
take over.
Yeah.
Right, anyway,
We are her legal mother and father.
so strange.
Aileen herself had been adopted and she was giving Aileen a new lease on life.
That's nice.
Aileen was 44 when she adopted Aileen. This is so confusing for me as well. I will get over
feel
this.
like the
Arlene
American-
and Eileen very
The
soon.
American accent would actually help with this. Arlene.
Yeah, Arlene.
And Eileen.
Yeah, that's right. So Eileen at that point was 35 years old and affectionately called Lee by the Praylees.
Pray Lee. Lee, pray Lee.
Lee Praylee.
Eat, pray love. Lee, pray Lee.
We've been called everything in the books over the last few months, Arlene told the Los Angeles Times. We just want Lee to have a family who cares about her, and it's not is not going to hurt her. She added, Aileen has a heart of gold, and even after all she's been through, she's given so much to me.
Well, she's been through. She was the murderer, wasn't she?
But we're going to go into what Aileen has been through because her story, and this is what I want to talk about, her story is hugely traumatic.
Okay.
I can guarantee that the story of Aileen has never begun this way before. And I did it for good reason. The recent Netflix documentary, Aileen, Queen of the Serial Killers, paints a very different picture of the term serial killer that we often like to put in a box. The film Monster with Charlize Theron also conveys a more sympathetic look at someone who many have called simply a monster and a psychopath. Aileen killed 7 men in just 12 months.
Oh, wow. I didn't realise it was in a year.
It was in a year. And that is not up for debate today. She did do that. The question at the time was, did she act in self-defense? She herself had an extremely traumatic upbringing and at the age of 15 was raped several times
God.
while hitchhiking. In fact, she says upwards of 30 times.
Oh, my God.
While hitchhiking and, as she called it, hooking. So that's what she refers to it as. I will say, yeah, the trigger warning here is massive throughout this whole episode. It'll be interesting to hear your thoughts on this. When I went into this, I went, oh my God, like she's the first female serial killer in the United States. Kind of always thought that I heard the word monster and heard these sorts of terms. And I'm not saying she's not, but what I found interesting, the conversations around it are fascinating. There are people that say she was a victim of her upbringing. You know, she was a victim of all of this. She acted in self-defense. Some people say that she was a cold-blooded killer and she did this. I will say that Aileen did change her story quite a lot, which will come up throughout this. So it's very hard to know what actually happened in all of this.
I will try my best to save my opinions for the end.
According to some specialists, Eileen's crimes have been related to her psychopathic personality and her psychotraumatic past. Assessed using the psychopathy checklist, Aileen scored 32 out of 40 with a cut-off score of 30 for determining psychopathy.
Right.
She was also known to meet the relevant criteria for determining borderline personality disorder and antisocial personality disorder.
Okay.
FBI profiler Robert Resler briefly mentions her in his autobiographical history of his 20 years with the FBI. Writing in 1992, he said he often does not discuss female serial killers because they tend to kill in sprees instead of sequential fashion. He noted Aileen was the sole exception. Resler, who allegedly coined the term serial killer to describe murderers seeking personal gratification, does not apply it to women killing in postpartum psychosis or to any murderer acting solely for financial gain, such as women who have killed a series of boarders or spouses. In the documentary, Selling a Serial Killer.
I thought they were going to say Selling Sunset.
Selling Sunset. I just mention it for no reason.
Yeah.
I love Selling Sunset.
Just want to quickly talk about Selling Sunset before we get into the murders.
In the documentary Selling a Serial Killer, journalist Nick Broomfield poses an uncomfortable portrait as someone who had fallen through the cracks of America's legal system and had been betrayed by everyone close to her. There's no doubt Aileen had an awful early life and went on to rob and kill 7 men between 1989 and 1990. Her life was one of cyclical abuse and desperation. I think it's important to tell the story with facts, but also the story that Aileen told. Mm-hmm. I think the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Right.
I came here to confess, Aileen confessed in 1991, after everything finally caught up with her. She was arrested in Daytona Beach, Florida. I just wish I never would have done this shit, she said.
Oh.
I wish I never would have got that gun. I wish to God I never was a hooker. And I just wish I never would have done what I did. She went on to say, I still have to say to myself, I still say that it was in self-defense. Nick Broomfield argues the fact that Ted Bundy was offered life in prison while Aileen was sentenced to lethal injection 4 times over.
Oh.
So let's take a step back and find out a bit about Aileen and the reason she went on to be known as a monster. Aileen Carol Pittman was born on February 29th, 1956.
Feb 29th?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's almost like written in the stars that she was going to be a bit,
Yeah.
There's already something odd about her.
Yeah. If your birthday is on February 29th, we do apologise, listeners.
No, but I don't mean odd in a negative way. For her, I do. But it's like you're already like someone that's different to so many other people. Like
so
I've always thought that would be really cool to have that as your birthday.
Yeah. And you can only celebrate every 4 years.
But you'd celebrate
you'd celebrate.
Oh, I don't know why I find that really interesting.
Yeah, she was born in Rochester, Michigan to Leo and Diane Pittman. She was born into a chaotic home life. She had a brother named Keith who was just 1 year older than her. Her mother, who was 16 when she gave birth to Aileen, left Leo, who was working as a handyman at the time.
She was 16 when she had Aileen and she had a brother a year older.
Yeah.
Oof. Yep.
Just months before Aileen was born. She never knew her father at all, who was just 19 at the time. He was incarcerated at the time Aileen was born.
Oh.
Leo was completely out of the picture. In 1967, Leo Pittman was sentenced to life imprisonment for kidnapping and raping a 7-year-old girl.
Oh my fucking God.
Pittman, diagnosed with schizophrenia, committed suicide by hanging in prison on January 30, 1969.
Piece of shit.
Diane was raising the 2 kids at the age of just 16, but it was too much for her. And she ended up giving Aileen and Keith over to her parents, Laurie and Britta Wuornos, who ended up adopting them when Aileen was about 4 years old.
So she's been adopted twice in her life.
Yeah,
I feel like that would be a very rare.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
There are very few people in the world, I would think, that have been adopted 2 times over.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And also, write in if you know more.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
If you are someone who has been adopted 3 times, I'm
Now,
very interested to hear
Her
that.
grandparents were both alcoholics.
Oh.
Keith and Aileen became part of the family, but Aileen didn't really know the truth until many years later that she was adopted.
Oh, right. So she was very much brought up as their child.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
She overheard kids gossiping at school and found out her family that wasn't her sister, that was actually her auntie or, brothers and uncles. And, she didn't learn that until she found out from kids gossiping at school.
God, that's hard. Like, that's not for other kids at school to know that.
Oh, my God.
And you not even know it.
Aileen said that her grandfather had sexually assaulted and beaten her when she was just a child. Before beating her, he would force her to strip out of her clothes.
What?
By age 11, Wuornos began engaging in sexual activity at school in exchange for cigarettes, drugs and food.
Hang on. Sorry. How is someone who is doing that to a child, how have they been allowed to legally adopt a child?
I don't know. I think it was all behind
Obviously.
closed doors. I don't think anyone else knew about it. She had also engaged in sexual activity with her brother. In 1970, at age 14, she became pregnant after being raped by a friend of her grandfather.
Oh, my God, Sammy.
It is rumoured that the grandfather is actually the father.
No. Oh, my God, this is awful.
Eileen's friends have claimed that the identity of the rapist who impregnated her was an older local pedophile in the 60s.
God.
And all the kids would go and play at his house and stuff. Not a lot of people believed her at the time.
What?
We don't really know the whole truth around this, but Aileen has stated several times over that this was a hugely traumatic event in her life.
Yeah.
Her grandparents placed her in a home for unwed mothers.
Oh, God, this is awful.
After she gave birth, her son was immediately put up for adoption. Laurie, her grandfather, worked at the Ford Motor Company as an engineer. There seemed to be a great deal of abuse that continued in the household.
Oh, God.
While Laurie was physically and sexually abusive, Britta, Eileen's grandmother, was emotionally abusive. This is all really important to understand who Aileen became as a person. There is no doubt she was abused and had an extremely traumatic life. Aileen dropped out of school as a freshman, and by this time, her grandmother had passed away and her grandfather kicked her out of the house at the age of just 15 years old.
Jesus Christ.
Aileen ended up sleeping in abandoned cars, a vacant building, or a home that was open. She also slept in the woods.
The fucking woods.
It's always
the woods.
Which was really dangerous.
Of course, because all the shit goes on in the woods.
Absolutely. And she would also sleep in really icy temperatures. It was brutally cold at night. She did that for years.
God. I'm whinging like a little bitch today because it's 13 degrees in Melbourne and I'm sitting inside.
It says it feels
your
like 8.
heated. Yeah, it does feel like 8. And we're inside your heated apartment and I'm whinging about how cold it is.
You've got the biggest dog in the world next to you right
warming
now.
me up.
There were similarities between her and her biological parents. Her father was abandoned by his parents when he was 5 months old to be raised by his grandmother. And he was, as we talked about, what he was later convicted of as well. At some point in the mid-70s, Aileen worked out that she needed to head to a warmer climate. If she was roughing it, she could at least be a little bit warmer and head down south.
What a horrible choice to have to make. Well, if I'm going to be sleeping on the streets, I'd like to do it somewhere
In
warmer.
a warmer place. She started hitchhiking, which took her all over the country. She would work as a sex worker during this time. She was on the road for 4 years non-stop. She said that in this time she had been raped 30 times or more on the road.
Oh, my God, Sammy.
On May 27, 1974, at 18 years old, Aileen was arrested in Jefferson County, Colorado, for driving under the influence, disorderly conduct, and firing a .22 caliber pistol from a moving vehicle. She was later charged with failure to appear. So she didn't turn up to court. She really got into using aliases at the time. Her aliases included, I'm going to do my best to pronounce these.
Alias, Aileen and Arlene. All very similar.
Sandra Kretsch, Susan Lynn Blahovic, Lee Blahovic, Cami Marsh Green, and Laurie Christine Grody.
Interesting to use Laurie, isn't it?
Yeah, really
Very
interesting. And all of
interesting.
these names keep coming up as well. So we'll go into it later.
They all seem very random.
Really random.
Apart from Laurie.
I don't know if maybe
who
she went
knows?
to school with someone of those names. I think you would if you were picking an alias.
What would your
with
alias be?
Tonya Makata. Aileen eventually settled in Florida, where she married a much older man in 1976 by the name of Lewis Fell. Lewis was a yacht.
Who fell in love with who?
Nice one. Lewis was a yacht club president. He was in his late 60s at the time, while Aileen was around 20.
Oh, yuck, 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 yuck.
It only lasted a couple of months. Wuornos continually involved herself in confrontations at their local bar and went to jail briefly for assault. She also hit Fell with his own cane, leading him to gain a restraining order against her within weeks of the marriage. Aileen returned to Michigan, where on July 14, 1976, she was arrested at Bernie's Club.
Day.
Is it?
Well, I think so. I got
yeah.
St. Pat's Day wrong
that's right.
in that episode, though. Tell me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure July 14.
She was arrested at Bernie's Club in Mansalona and charged with assault and disturbing the peace for throwing a cue ball at a bartender's head.
Oh, is it like a pool ball?
I think so, cue ball, yeah. Aileen received $10,000 for... Oh, sorry. That's jumping around a little bit there, sorry. Wuornos and Fell annulled their marriage on July 21st.
Oh, it was so recent that they could annul it. They didn't have to get divorced.
That's right, after only 9 weeks.
Oh, yeah, well, good. If you're 69, don't marry someone in their 20s.
Yeah.
Yuck.
In August 1976, Aileen was given a $105 fine for drunk driving.
$105.
Yeah.
I mean, probably that's a lot more money back then, I suppose.
In 1976, Eileen's grandfather took his own life using carbon monoxide. 4 months later, her brother died of cancer. She was really close with him, and this had a big effect on Aileen. Now, she did inherit $10,000. Yeah, he was really young. Aileen did inherit $10,000 from his life insurance, and apparently just spent that really quickly.
In the 20s and the 70s.
I know, yeah. He must have had he must have worked and had a job at that point, yeah. In Florida, Aileen continued to make her money through sex work. She didn't make it past the 9th grade and so didn't have a lot of skills or an education to go on with many other jobs and do something else. It was like this is what she felt she had to do to make money because she didn't have a lot of other options. She did have a knack for getting by any way that she could. She also had a record including a number of petty thefts, small-time crime like cashing bad checks. She also had a number of charges for sex work. She also was charged for assault and disorderly conduct a couple of times. She was barely scraping by and trying her best to survive. You hear this a little in these cases. A lot of people who are barely getting by might actually commit a small crime to end up in prison where they'll be fed and housed for a few nights or so. And that's kind of what she did around this time. In 1981, she robbed a convenience store. She was around 24 or 25 at the time and living with her boyfriend. They got into a massive argument one day after Aileen took a bunch of pills and drank a case of beer.
Oh, God.
Now, Aileen was a fairly slight person, but she drank a lot and could still function. Aileen later told a psychiatrist that she wanted to see if her boyfriend actually loved her, and this would be the ultimate test.
I'm assuming it's not what everyone else does and says, would you still love me if I was a worm?
Yeah. A worm, yeah. It's a funner thing.
That's what we always say. Would you still love me if I was a worm? And then the boyfriend goes, oh, not this again.
Not this again.
To all men listening, when your girlfriend or wife asks you if you would still love them if they were a worm, just say yes, baby.
Just say
Yes, my love.
Yeah, baby worm.
And move on.
Aileen walked into a convenience store, pulled a gun on the employee and tried to get away, but was arrested.
Should have just asked him.
Yeah.
The worm thing.
The worm thing.
Nicer.
She pled guilty and was sentenced to 3 years in prison, of which she only served 14 months.
Hang on. How was that to see if her boyfriend loved her? Just if he'd stand by her?
Well, she seemed to think that if her boyfriend was waiting for her at the other end, then she would know that he was committed to her.
Oh, my God. I'm just going to say this is my opinion.
The worm thing again? Are you going to say the worm thing again?
I think the worm thing would have been better.
The worm thing again would have worked. Eileen also told the psychiatrist that she had been raped 10 to 12 times while hitchhiking and had used a wide range of drugs in that time. She also said that she had suffered blackouts from the age of 19 and had tried to take her life 6 times, once shooting herself in the stomach.
Oh, what?
On January 4th, 1986, Wuornos was arrested in Miami and charged with car theft, resisting arrest, and obstruction of justice for providing identification bearing her aunt's name. Miami police officers found a .38 caliber revolver and a box of ammunition in the stolen car.
Ew.
On June 2nd, 1986, deputy sheriffs detained Aileen for questioning after a male companion accused her of pulling a gun in his car and demanding $200. Aileen was found to be carrying spare ammunition, and police discovered a .22 caliber pistol under the passenger seat that she had occupied. Eileen's most important relationship was with a woman by the name of Ty Moore. Now, her name is spelt Tyria. I would say that's Tyria or Tyria. They say Tyra is how you pronounce it. Everyone's going to call her Ty. Ty in this. They met at a bar in 1986 in Daytona Beach, Florida. They soon became a couple. Aileen was 30 years old at the time. Ty... Was that the Google? I think it might have been the Google.
It just said, uh-huh.
It's the Google for sure. Yeah,
Where did that...
I don't
What was
know.
it saying? That was really
I don't know. That was terrifying. We're real spooked now.
We were just stopped and stared at each
Oh my
other.
God. Who was that?
Why did he say, uh-huh?
I think he thought they were talking to him. I think.
Why? What did you say
I don't know.
Daytona
Terrified.
Beach, uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God. Oh, no, actually, it sounds like maybe it was being a bit creepy because they wanted to become a couple. And he goes,
Tell me
I
more.
like that. Oh, I don't like your Googles, I mean.
Ty was 24 and worked as a hotel maid. Aileen wanted her to give up her job as a maid and she would provide for both of them. And she did. They lived off whatever money Aileen could make.
So she's made her girlfriend give up her actual job.
Yep.
Making money so she could like by robbing people and
Yeah, well, she'd make more money doing that. So, yeah. They lived in cheap motels, at an apartment every now and again, and then in the woods.
What?
Always the woods.
Stop going to the woods.
On March 12, 1988, Aileen accused a Daytona bus driver of assault. She claimed that he pushed her off the bus following a confrontation. Ty was listed as a witness to the incident. Later at her trial, Aileen stated, "It was love beyond imaginable.
Wow.
Earthly words cannot describe how I thought about Tyra."
Earthly words kind of sounds like earthworms.
Earthworms. Beautiful earthworms.
She would have still loved her if she was a worm, I bet.
Before her execution, Aileen claimed to be in love with Ty the entire time and still loved her.
Even if she was an earthly worm.
That's right. Aileen had longed for a relationship with someone who would love her back. She was desperate to hold on to her relationship with Ty. It was the only person who would not abandon her or betrayed her.
Oh, so I'm assuming back to the would you love me if I was a worm guy, assuming he wasn't there still waiting for her after her 14 months in prison.
That's right, yeah. Aileen had a very hard look from her hard life. She had some scarring on her face from a lighter fluid incident when she was a child.
Oh, God.
Her demeanour was quite rough too. She could be loud, brash, confrontational, and scared a lot of people that she came across. Aileen and Ty were together for around 4 years. She got more and more desperate with each year that went by. She just wanted them to stay together. Aileen committed her first murder in December 1989. 51-year-old Richard Mallory owned his own electric repair shop. He liked to frequent nightclubs and bars. He picked up Aileen on December 1st in his 1977 Cadillac. Something went terribly wrong in that car.
Was she prostituting herself that night or hitchhiking?
It is, well, yeah, it's hard to know. A lot of the time she would hitchhike and then she would offer, would kind of say, oh, if you give me $50, there was something
She'd
like
offer
that happened. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, she wasn't necessarily a sex worker waiting on a corner or something for someone. She was often hitchhiking and then on the I-75 and would see kind of what happened there. Aileen ended up shooting Richard several times with her .22 caliber pistol, which was known for she was always kind of carrying in her bag. Now, I know we talk a lot about this and whether or not people should be carrying around guns without someone, but you know, I kind of think without someone escorting Aileen from place to place as a sex worker, it looked like she was trying to be safe at the time. Aileen would be on the interstate hitchhiking, trying to get people to pick her up. It combined the dangers of both hitchhiking and sex work. The first murder has always been hotly debated. Aileen would claim that she acted in self-defense, while the state claimed it was a simple, cold-blooded murder. Richard Mallory actually had a record where he was convicted of rape prior, but this was not known at the time that Aileen was convicted.
Oh, so what, later on?
Later on it came out.
In hindsight, they went, that's
he
the
actually
guy
was
who...
convicted. That's right. But a little bit of digging that they did not do at the time could have uncovered that. After he was dead, she stole from Richard, taking money, his personal items, and anything she could find. She then stole his Cadillac and dumped his body in the woods.
It's always the woods.
And she put like a rug over him.
Oh, that'll do it. Just someone walking through the woods seeing a rug. Well, that's normal.
Yeah.
Keep walking.
Aileen returned home that day with Richard's Cadillac and told Ty, "I killed a man today."
Oh.
So Ty knew already what Aileen did to make money. She didn't like it and tried to convince her to try a different line of work many times before that, but Aileen never wanted to change.
Why did Ty leave her job as a maid then if she didn't like...
I don't know. This is also another point of contention that it is hard to know what is the truth, and we'll go into it later about their relationship.
Okay.
And yeah, it is hard to know the truth. The truth there, as I said before, I think it's somewhere in the middle. Now, of course, when Aileen first told Ty that she killed a man, she told her that it was all in self-defense. Mallory's car was found abandoned a few days later. His body was found by two men on December 13 in a wooded area underneath a piece of carpet. So he's lying under a carpet. Police were able to lift fingerprints and determine that it was Richard Mallory. But sadly, there were no leads. While they were investigating, Aileen and Ty were pawning the items that they had taken from Richard Mallory. Well, she had taken, I should say. They were using that money to live their day-to-day lives and just scrape by. Richard Mallory was killed in December 1989, and she didn't commit her second murder until May 1990. In 1990, she would go on to kill 6 men.
Yeah, far out.
So she only killed one
from
in
May
1989.
as well.
Yeah.
That's not even like
exactly,
a full
not
year.
a full year. Yeah. In May 1990, father of 3, David Spears, 43 years old, picked up Aileen and became her next victim.
Is David Spears why do I recognise that name?
I don't know.
Is it the same
David
name
Spears.
as someone else
It could
in
be.
a story we've done or something?
Oh,
I'm gonna
maybe.
Google that quickly.
She shot him 6 times with her .22 caliber pistol. His truck was abandoned on May 25th, but his body was not found until June 1st, the very same day that his daughter was set to be graduating high school. The body of David Spears was found naked in the woods about 40 miles north of Tampa.
Sorry, David Spears is a Scottish-Australian former politician and convicted drug dealer.
Oh, wow.
Who is the leader of the opposition in South Australia and leader of the South Australian Liberal Party from April 22 to August 24.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So there you go. I
That's
did recognise this.
interesting.
Yeah. We'll do his story another day.
Yeah. On May 31st, Aileen shot and killed 40-year-old Charles 9 times.
Same month.
Same month.
Wow.
Charles was
9 times.
Yeah. Charles was a part-time rodeo worker who was driving along I-75 to meet his fiancée in Tampa when he picked up Aileen. His nude body was found June 6, about 30 miles south of where David Spears had been found.
Nude is a funny word.
Yeah. On June 7th, police found his car, which had been completely cleaned out of all personal belongings. Aileen's next victim was 65-year-old Peter. He was a merchant marine turned missionary. He had left his home on June 7th to visit his son. A missing persons report was filed, but police were unable to find his body or his car.
Oh.
51-year-old Troy Burris was a delivery driver for a sausage factory who went missing on July 30th.
Sausage factory sounds like a like a euphemism.
It does. It does.
I know there are actual sausage factories, but I kind of never
You can't get
believe
that in your head.
No.
His truck was found the next day and a missing persons report was filed. His body was found fully clothed by a family going for a picnic.
Oh, God.
How awful is that?
It's interesting. Why were some of them naked and some were...
Well, that depends if they were involved in any kind of sex work or anything. So this is the thing. It's hard to know if they had picked her up looking for someone to maybe they were looking for a sex worker, maybe they weren't, maybe there was a conversation between both of them. So, yeah, it is hard to know if she was just robbing people and you got to, it's really hard to know that. Troy had been shot twice with a .22 caliber. Near his body was found a clipboard, an empty bank bag, and some business receipts.
Oh. Do you know if at this point, like after a couple of them, police had...
They started to put it together.
To think they were all linked. Okay.
Because of where it was. But you've got to think as well, this is all in different counties. So that was the other thing. Because it was on the I-75. It's quite a long way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it all happened in different spots.
I wonder how long it took them to kind of go, oh, these are all linked.
Depends if they were communicating to each other, I guess. It's really hard to know.
That's something we talk about a lot in this pod as well, isn't it?
They weren't
seems
talking.
like, different counties and different states aren't sharing information.
No. Then her next victim was on September 11th, 1990, when she killed 56-year-old Dick Humphreys. At one point, he had been a police chief in Alabama.
Whoa.
He was a retired Air Force major and instructor in terrorist negotiations. He was a father of three.
September 11.
Yeah. He was found dressed the next day. Oh, sorry. He was found the next day in a subdivision block. He had been shot 7 times. He was found dressed with his pockets turned inside out. So absolutely robbed and left. Yeah. His car was found a week later with his license plate removed.
Oh.
Her last victim was 60-year-old Walter Antonio. He was a deputy and truck driver. So it's weird that quite a few of them were in law enforcement.
Yeah.
And truck driver who was looking for a job in Alabama. His naked body was found in Dixie County. I had written nude, but I didn't want to do that to you again. His naked body was found in Dixie County. He had been shot 3 times. Wow. One shot was to the back of his head. It was determined that several items were missing. The most important one missing was a gold ring that his fiancée had recently given him. The victims' families were all completely shocked that these victims, apart from the first, Richard Mallory, that these men were out looking for a sex worker. Did they all just pick her up as a hitchhiker? Were they just helping a woman on the side of the road?
Yeah, but also I feel like the majority of the ones you just said had fiancés or wives or things. So like,
yeah,
of course you'd be shocked.
Yeah, of course. And who's to know? Like, we really don't know what happened in that car. Like, this is a big question surrounding the case. Did she act as a woman in distress? Like to flag them down, or what was the what really went on?
Why did they pick her up?
Yeah.
Right.
It has been stated that Aileen would really scope out easy targets and sort out middle-aged men. Now, that's been said, but I'm like, how do you do that in the dead of night when there's, like, cars coming that way? Like, I don't really understand how that would be.
Yes.
True. Yeah. On July 4th, 1990...
maybe they're saying there are a lot of people who she got in cars with and the ones she killed were the ones she went,
that's true.
Okay, you're vulnerable, you're, whatever.
Yeah. On July 4th, 1990, Aileen and Ty were driving around in Peter Seam's car. So that's Peter, an earlier victim. Mm-hmm. They got into an accident. Witnesses gave police information about the 2 women they saw fleeing the car. It was this incident that led to Aileen's arrest. Oh. Composites were made and a bloodied footprint was found at the scene. Now, I think the footprint was in the boot or something. It was a really odd, and I don't know why exactly it was found there, but I think they fled and someone was cut or something like that. It wasn't until November 30th of 1990, after the pattern murders actually became obvious, that the sketches were made public. Mm-hmm. These murders were happening in different counties at the time, and they weren't connected until 1990. Calls started rolling in. One article stated they got 500 calls. Some of the calls were naming different women. One name was Tyra and another was Lee.
Right.
There were so many different aliases for Aileen that not many had the same name. So someone was
Yes.
like, oh, that's her, but they're all different names at the time.
I mean, even just her actual name between Aileen and Lee.
Exactly.
That's even two different names.
Yeah, and a lot of
Without
people do
being
call
an
her Lee.
alias. Yeah, that's just what she's known as.
Yeah. The one thing Aileen couldn't escape were her fingerprints, which were on file. When police searched local pawn shops, they discovered some of the missing items from the victims.
Yeah, not a good look.
That's when some of the aliases began coming up from the local pawn shop owners.
Right.
Fingerprints on the items and receipts led back to Aileen. Police were looking for the pair, but they had been moving around so much it was hard to actually find them. Ty soon left Aileen. She took off to Pennsylvania with family. She wanted to get right out of there after seeing the composites on TV. On January 9th, 1991, Aileen was arrested at the Last Resort Bar in Florida on an outstanding warrant.
How's the irony of the name of that
The
bar?
Last Resort. And it is a famous bar now because it's actually a huge tourist attraction because there's footage of Aileen being arrested there. So police went and arrested her there. She kind of just started shouting and stuff, and then it was this huge thing.
Into pieces. This is my last
And
resort.
that song was playing. Who's that by?
I don't remember, one of those Slipknot or something.
Slipknot or something like that. When they arrested Aileen, some else shit like that. When they arrested Aileen, she had a key to a storage unit. There, they found property that belonged to 6 of the 7 victims. Police needed time to build a rock-solid case against Aileen. The plan was to find Ty. They struck a deal with her for her testimony, so she would not be convicted of anything if she gave her testimony.
Okay. That's always iffy, isn't it? Because then it's like, well, are you then just saying what they want to hear so you don't get convicted, or that can raise questions in itself.
And it's also has been stated that she was involved in the movie deal. So that she'd been contacted by the people that made Monster, and so she had reason to convict her.
Which may not be, that might not be anything dodgy about that, but it also very well may.
Yeah. They brought Ty back to Florida and put her up in a hotel. They listened and recorded a series of calls between Ty and Aileen. Ty cried on the calls and said she was scared of going to prison for what Aileen had done.
And Aileen, I assume at this point, wouldn't know
that she was being recorded at all, yeah. She told Aileen that she would kill herself, which really pulled at Eileen's heartstrings. She was in love with her. On one call, she said to Ty, "You're not the one. I'm the one who did everything. I did it all by myself."
Aileen said that willingly.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to say.
I think she just kept coaxing it out of her. I think she was just like, look, I love
need
you, I
you
love
to,
you. Yeah.
Did I do this? I'm blaming myself for this. No, I did it, babe. Don't worry.
And Ty was clearly upset and
Okay.
After that, Aileen sat down with investigators to confess to a number of her crimes. Aileen confessed to her crimes to save Ty. She gave confessions on videotape, but said that she acted in self-defense at a later point. Ty said that she left Aileen when she saw the composite. Aileen had a court-appointed attorney present who tried to limit what she said, but Aileen wanted to talk. She smoked cigarettes and calmly spoke about killing the 7 men. After she was arrested, but before she was charged, there were people trying to cash in on her story, including Aileen herself, but she, of course, wasn't allowed.
What do you mean?
Well, she wanted to kind of do
deal
interviews.
or something.
Yeah. Her original attorney was taken off the case for trying to broker a deal with a Hollywood producer.
Oh, her attorney.
Aileen then requested a female attorney and was assigned a public defender by the name of Tricia Jenkins. Ty Moore signed a deal to sell the story. There were law enforcement officials who all tried to sell the story to catch Aileen Wuornos.
Oh my God.
It was stated early on by various people that Aileen sensationalized her story to stand out and make it sound bigger than it actually was. She also claimed in her self-defense that she was saving others from being targeted by these men who attacked her. She was charged and would go on trial first for the murder and armed robbery of Richard Mallory. She pled not guilty. The trial began on January 13, 1992. The prosecutor said that Richard Mallory had no idea that the woman he picked up was a predatory sex worker who had slept with over 250,000 men. No. What I'll go on to say is...
Sorry.
Now, that is an insane thing to say.
Yes.
250,000 people. That's about 30 plus men every single day of your life for 20 years.
Yeah, okay. Checks out.
Now, this reminds me of the Batman Forever director, Joel Schumacher, who claimed in a 2019 interview he was estimated having sex with 10,000 to 20,000 men.
Oh,
I love that he said that he had sex between 10 to 20. It's like,
well,
10,000 is a lot, but why not just double it?
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. But 250,000, that's a lot of people.
And also just inarguably a lot of people.
But that's also just to say, like, how awful is that for someone to say? Because that's just slut shaming.
Yes.
And then also, she was a sex worker, so she had sex for money. But then also to be like, 250,000 is an arbitrary number.
250,000, it's a stupid number.
The prosecutor said that Aileen shot and killed Richard for his valuables, including his car. She was willing to kill to get more out of each person that she was soliciting. Tricia Jenkins, Aileen's defence attorney, said in her opening statement that Wuornos was attacked by Richard. She was terrified and shot him in self-defence. She argued that Aileen couldn't go to the police because she was a sex worker and Richard was a businessman. Who would you believe? Prosecutors brought in evidence that all the other victims had been killed with intent and malice.
It is interesting. Oh, no, sorry. I said at the start, I'll say my opinions to
I think it is interesting because did she shoot someone, the first person, in self-defence, and did she kind of then go,
realise,
hold on,
this is a way to be able to
I can rob.
valuables, mate.
And she did say that she was into robbing people. That, she always said that.
Quite like, just into it. I mean,
she says it in a really funny way.
Like literally, like,
because that
I'm
was
quite
my
into
thing.
that.
That was my biz. I was in the robbing biz, she says.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, what I was going to say is it's interesting that, like, I remember at least one of them, you said he was shot 9 times. That feels like beyond self-defense, but perhaps, like, maybe you could look at that and go, oh wow, she had to shoot him 9 times to stop him. But it's like, it surely couldn't take that many shots to completely debilitate or kill someone.
I think Richard, so the story at the time was that Richard was really violent, and we'll go into the details, they're quite graphic, but that she did have to shoot him 9 times because he came after her. But that was the story at the time. Anyway, prosecutors brought in evidence that all the other victims had been killed with intent and malice. They argued that Aileen had a hatred of men, and once she killed Richard, had this new vengeance against killing men who had done her wrong her entire life. When Ty took the stand, she could not look at Aileen.
Oh.
Aileen was sobbing throughout.
Oh, that's interesting. Why do you reckon she couldn't look at her? Because she'd sold her out, or
who knows?
Because she was too sad to see her in that situation.
It is a heartbreaking thing to actually watch in this Netflix documentary because she really did love her, and she was another person that had betrayed her. So if you kind of look at it, you go, oh, what? I think this is the thing about saying the truth is somewhere in the middle. I think that, there was something between them.
And also, like, it's just an extra layer to it that she's saying, all these men have treated me so horribly my whole life.
Yeah.
I was in love with a woman and then she sold her out too.
Yeah. And also, like, I think it's really interesting. I think, it can be kind of stated that maybe Aileen loved Ty and Ty didn't love Aileen. You get that sense that she felt betrayed and that her love was, again, unrequited. Ty claimed that Aileen and her had started as a sexual relationship but moved on to more of a friendship over time.
Ty said that?
Yeah. Ty confessed that Aileen had told her that she had killed Richard but did not say anything about being attacked. Eileen's account was vicious, that Richard had attacked her, but Ty stated that she didn't look out of sorts that day when she came home, or that she'd been in any kind of brutal attack that she described.
She just came home and said, I killed a man today.
Is what Ty said, yeah. Tricia tried to get, who's the attorney.
Yep.
Trisha tried to get the video confession suppressed during the trial and also argued that because Ty had sold her story, that she had a vested interest in this case
I agree
for
with
monetary gain.
Yeah, I agree with the latter point, but why would you not admit?
So I don't think that she brought up the violence. I don't think she brought up the self-defense in the original.
Well, then you can't just go, this doesn't suit our case, so don't show the police interview, please.
Yeah.
A police interview is very much part
I
of
know.
the case.
But I think she was the only attorney of Eileen's that actually had Eileen's interests at heart and was actually trying to be a good lawyer.
Of course she was.
None
but
of the
it's
other
not.
ones did.
Of course you're not going to get that.
No, of course not.
Of course they're going
Her
to
magistrate, I implore you.
I implore you,
That makes
don't
my
shut-
client look bad.
Oh my God, well, your phone just yeeted itself off the table. What's going on with your phone? There's a little man living in there going, nice, or
happened?
whatever he said. That was weird.
Her magistrate, I implore you. This doesn't look good for my client.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't mean you can't put it in the trial.
Well, let's talk about her other attorneys in a moment. Against her attorney's advice, Aileen took to the stand. She was the only defence witness. Aileen desperately wanted to tell her story, but she didn't do it well.
That's why if your lawyer is saying don't take the stand, listen to them.
People didn't understand what she had been through and she kind of just wanted to tell her side. She told the jury that she was the victim from her childhood to support every need of Ty and later defending herself against being raped by Richard Mallory. She said that he violently raped her, tied her up and poured alcohol in her eyes, anus and vagina to inflict more pain, and he enjoyed the torture. He kept calling her a slut over and over. She told the jury that she thought she was going to die. He then told her he was going to kill her, and at this point freed herself and shot him inside the car. Once she got out, he was still alive and chasing, so she shot him again and again. She said she covered him in the rug because she was concerned about birds or animals trying to get at him.
Okay.
Which I don't think is a thing. If you've been violently raped by someone and then killed them, I don't think
you
you're
don't care what
concerned about
happens to
that.
their body.
By testifying, she of course opened herself up to cross-examination from the prosecutor.
Which she will later try to appeal against and say was unfair and oppressive, like Aaron Patterson.
The prosecutor hammered her about why the violent rape didn't come up in her confession tapes or with Ty. All she said to Ty was that she had killed a man. The defence attorney tried her best to stop Aileen from talking, but she just kept going. Oh, I kept getting lost here. What the heck? What the heck, George? We're laughing, aren't we? Are we laughing? The defence attorney tried to best to stop Aileen, from talking, but she just kept going and sparred with the prosecutor. She wasn't skilled at arguing with the prosecutor, but she did it anyway, especially about her carrying a gun and shooting her victims. So, it did come up like, why did you have a gun? Blah, blah, blah. She was like, I did it for protection, but why did you? Yeah, anyway.
I mean, you're allowed to in America, so.
Of course. It took the jury under 2 hours.
Whoa.
To find Aileen guilty for the first-degree murder and armed robbery of Richard Mallory.
Holy shit, that is quick.
So quick. The jury just didn't buy that she was acting in self-defense due to not mentioning to the police or to Ty in her confession.
That is.
It's a huge part.
Big red flag.
Her defense team had relied pretty heavily on her childhood trauma to fight the death sentence. At the sentencing, only one woman had been put to death in the United States since the death penalty was reinstated in the 1970s.
Oh, wow.
Trisha gave some pretty impassioned closing arguments to fight her sentencing against the death penalty. Trisha had some experts to argue that Aileen had borderline personality disorder. She also argued that she suffered from some kind of brain damage. Eileen's uncle testified that his father was not an alcoholic and did not mistreat Aileen as a child. The jury only deliberated for an hour and 48 minutes before recommending Aileen be put to death.
I don't understand how a jury gets to decide on a sentence. I think that it's something about the Australian justice system that I really agree with. The jury, because especially people, your peers are the ones that make the decision on the evidence of whether you're guilty or not. And if you are guilty, it is a judge who is a trained, experienced person in the justice system makes a choice on the sentence. I can't believe whether it's death penalty or not, a jury gets to decide.
The jury weighed up her low IQ of 81, her mental health and abusive childhood, but because of her previous felonies as well, they believe she had committed these murders in a premeditated fashion. It was a unanimous decision,
Wow.
12-0.
Oh, God, that is strong when you're talking about someone's
And it has to be majority for that. And it's,
life.
The judge followed a decision ordering Aileen be put to death. Aileen went into a tirade, waving frantically and shouting about her media treatment. She was also known to fly off the handle fairly easily. Authorities weren't done with Aileen. She faced charges in 5 of the 6 other murders. She was never charged with the murder of Peter Sims because his body was never recovered.
Oh, God.
In prison, Aileen became
Hang
friends.
on, sorry, then why was she linked to his death?
They believe that she did it, but they can never prove it.
Just because he was a missing man in the same kind of area at the same... Okay.
Yeah. In prison, Aileen became friends with Aileen Wuornos, who became her spiritual advisor.
Oh, wait, sorry. I thought you meant she was in prison with her. I was like,
No.
Just while she was in prison.
That's right.
Did Aileen just like maybe write to her? Just
Saw
make
her in the
contact
paper
or-
and wrote to
Yep,
her,
okay.
yeah. She was accused of trying to profit off Eileen's story. Aileen helped find a new attorney for Aileen by the name of Steve Glazer. Now, Steve Glazer is pretty much a Lionel Hutz. He has come under attack for the way he handled the case.
For what, an appeal?
Yeah. She originally pled not guilty, which later was changed to no contest.
What is that? Oh.
A lot of people thought that he took the trial just for the publicity surrounding it. Steve Glazer hired a psychiatrist who diagnosed Aileen with borderline personality disorder. Over time, she became more paranoid and delusional. She perceived her former attorney as part of a conspiracy against her. The examiner thought that Aileen was incompetent to proceed as she did not rationally make decisions for herself. Steve still moved forward with the plea in the spring of 1992 and did not ask for the death penalty to be waived, just to plead no contest.
What?
It is very fair to say that Steve Glazer was out of his depth when handling the case. She only took it because Aileen said to her, I think you need to take this person.
What does no contest mean?
No
in an
contest,
appeal?
I think it means guilty, but like I just think, that I'm
Well, I'm not
pleading the same as
contesting
guilty.
that.
Yeah.
But I'm also not pleading.
I'm not
guilty.
pleading. Yeah. This is a photo of his ad that was on the local television at the time.
That's him.
That's
Steve.
him. That's Steve Glazer.
Dial Dr. Legal 3753425.
That's right. So that was him advertising
Ew.
on TV at the time. He took money from interviews he was doing about Aileen at the time, a commission from Eileen's takings.
That's so fucked.
He was described.
You should not be allowed to make money
I know.
from doing interviews about your current client.
He was kind of seen as a small-town lone hippie who made his own music and liked to smoke pot.
It's giving Better Call Saul.
Yeah, it is. Stephen Glazer may not have had much experience in the law, but he simply did whatever his client requested
Why did she choose him?
because Aileen suggested him. They were friends.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He advertised himself in television commercials at the time, looking like a hippie version of the painter Bob Ross, calling himself Dr. Legal. In the documentary by Nick Broomfield, he shows Steve smoking around 6 or 7 joints before going in to meet Aileen in the prison to give her advice. It later comes up. When Nick Broomfield turned up to see Steve again after the first documentary came out, Steve looks at him and says, "Fuck you," and claimed that he was run out of town from the film. Dr. Legal tried to charge Nick Broomfield $25,000 for an interview with Aileen. Now, at this point, Aileen was going to be put to death, but it does seem weird that Steve didn't seem to have any further arguments to help Eileen's case. Aileen was sentenced to 3 more death sentences. Aileen said, "Thank you," and I will see ya. I'll be up in heaven while y'all all rot in hell. May your wife and kids get raped in the arse.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Aileen continued to shout at the courtroom that she was raped. In June 1992, Aileen pleaded not guilty to the murder of Charles, and then in February 1993, she pled guilty to the murder of Walter Antonio. She received 2 more death sentences.
So sorry, I'm going to backtrack on myself here. When I said before what's no context in an appeal, it wasn't an appeal, it was more. When this Steve represented
just kept
her
going
was
and
for
going and
more
going.
a different murder.
That's right, yep.
Sorry, yep.
She had a number of automatic appeals because of her death sentence, especially because of ineffective counsel. So they just said to her, you can appeal this.
Yeah, we're going to allow you because your lawyer is shit.
Her defence attorneys did not find out that Richard Mallory had a prior rape conviction, and this could have really helped her in the first trial.
Wow.
She argued that her attorneys did not argue her competency to stand trial. As the years went by, Eileen's behaviour became more and more erratic. She continued to fire attorneys during her appeals and then dropped all of her appeals suddenly in 2001.
Oh.
It's clear that her mental state was declining over time. She became more and more paranoid. In 2002, she began accusing prison matrons of tainting her food with dirt, saliva and urine. She said she overheard conversations among prison personnel trying to get me so pushed over the brink by them I'd wind up committing suicide before the execution. And wishing you raped me before execution. She also complained of strip searches, tight handcuffing, door kicking, frequent window checks, low water pressure, mildew on her mattress, and catcalling in distaste and a pure hatred towards me.
I feel like this brings me back to what we were saying before the story about Erin Patterson. It's like, choose your arguments.
Yeah.
Here. I feel like if you're claiming you have been raped, do you need to bring up low water pressure as an argument? Like there are stronger things than saying I've got not very good water pressure in this prison.
Eileen also gave names of people who are security guards and stuff. She was really, and she only stayed in her cell for 24 hours a day. Like she didn't care. She just wanted to die at this point.
Oh God.
And was wondering why it was taking so long.
Oh.
Eileen threatened to boycott showers and food trays when certain officers were on duty. In the meantime, my stomach's growling away and I'm taking showers through the sink of my cell. Her attorney stated that Miss Wuornos really just wants to have proper treatment, humane treatment until the day she's executed. He added, she believes what she's written. Aileen had a conspiracy theory that the police knew she was killing and after the 7th murder stopped her. It's not very clear. It's not very clear about that, but she starts shouting about it when she's taken into a police car in the documentary. It's like she believed that they wanted her to kill and she was killing for a reason and then they stopped her at one point. I don't really understand the conspiracy theory, but it was a conspiracy theory that she had at the time. In the weeks before her execution, Aileen gave a series of interviews to British documentarian Nick Broomfield and talked about being taken away to meet God and Jesus and the angels and whatever is beyond the beyond. Food poisonings and other abuses worsened, she said, each time she complained to make her appear insane or to drive her even more insane than before. She also turned on the interviewer at one point. You sabotage my ass, society and the cops and the system. A raped woman got executed and was used for books and movies and shit. Her final on-camera words were, thanks a lot, society, for railroading my ass. Dawn Botkins, a childhood friend of Aileen, later told Nick Broomfield that her verbal abuse was directed at society and the media in general, not at him specifically.
Yes, he was a messenger.
He was a messenger. She also came clean to Nick Broomfield, saying that she was a serial killer and that she in fact intended to rob the people she selected, that she was not acting in self-defense. I cannot die in the execution chamber as a liar, she said. I have to come clean and cleanse my spirit in the name of Jesus Christ. I have to come clean and tell the world. Nick asked, "You killed these men in cold blood?" "I was into the robbing biz. Serial killers are into this thrill-seeking biz. I'm coming clean before I go into that execution chamber."
Wow.
"There was no self-defense. I'm really sorry about what happened with everything.
She said that.
To me, this world is full of evil," she said. In her statement in court, she said, in part, "I want to confess to you that Richard Mallory did violently rape me, as I've told you, but these others did not.
Whoa.
They only began to start to."
Oh.
There have been conflicting accounts of this information over time. At that point, she had been on death row for 10 years and wanted to die.
We've discussed this before. I don't understand.
It's so long,
I'm
isn't it?
interested to hear from if any of our listeners know the reason behind
Yeah.
this. Why is death row so long?
Yeah, and I'd also like to know from listeners as well. So what I got from all of this research was that there were such conflicting accounts of her saying that she was raped and killed these men in self-defense, and then later said that she didn't, that Richard Mallory was the only one that she acted in self-defense, but then the others did try to rape her, but it kept changing. And some of the... And then there is another interview in this documentary when she thinks the cameras are off, and she does say they all tried to rape her, but she just wants to die. So she's saying, "Yes, I did it all.
If I just
kill
do
me."
this, let me go.
So it's very conflicted information there, conflicting information there. She said up until the day that she was executed that she really loved Ty. Eileen's execution by lethal injection took place on October 9, 2002.
Jeez, I didn't realise the death penalty was...
I know. I think in some
mind,
states it's different in some states. Yeah.
In my mind, the death penalty was only something that was around in like the 30s. You know, I know that it's completely
The
different.
1300s,
I'm not
you
actually saying it.
Yeah.
I do think that, but in my mind, it's placed there.
Absolutely, yeah. She declined her last meal, which could have been anything up to $20, and instead received...
What? Hang on.
Last meal can be up to $20.
Hang on. What the fuck? I thought the whole thing about your last meal on death row was you can have anything in the world that you want.
I think in some... it'd probably be different everywhere, but in this case, it was up to $20.
Oh my God, that's not even a fucking burger from Grilled.
No. Well, yeah, I don't know if Grilled would deliver straight to your door.
Guess what we had for lunch today?
Yeah, you're thinking about it. And look, instead she said no and just wanted a cup of coffee.
What?
Her last words were, and this is, I don't know what this means. Her last words were, "Yes, I would just like to say I'm sailing with the Rock and I'll be back. Like Independence Day with Jesus. June 6, like the movie. Big mothership and all. I'll be back. I'll be back."
Ooh.
She died at 9:47 a.m. She was the second woman in Florida and the 10th in the United States to be executed since the 1976 United States Supreme Court decision restoring capital punishment.
I didn't know that either. That's very naive. I just don't know much about that kind of recent American history, I guess.
No.
I did not know that it was abolished and then reinstated.
No. After her death, her body was cremated. Aileen Wuornos' ashes were scattered beneath a tree in her native Michigan by her childhood friend, Dawn Botkins. Dawn Botkins wrote the book Dear Dawn, which is Eileen's autobiography, culled from her...
everyone's making money
every
from her,
single
aren't they?
person.
Yunk.
Culled from her 10-year death row correspondence with her childhood friend, Aileen Wuornos.
Then she's gone on to just use her Dawn has gone on to use Eileen's story for her own benefit as well.
Dawn also was in the documentary, and she got up at 5 a.m. and wrote to Aileen every single day.
What's the point getting up at 5 a.m. to do so?
I don't know. Maybe it was to beat the post. I don't really know. At Eileen's request, Natalie Merchant's song Carnival from Merchant's album Tiger Lily was played at her funeral. Aileen spent many hours listening to this album on death row. When Merchant found out about this, she gave permission to use the song in the closing credits of Broomfield's documentary Aileen, Life and Death of a Serial Killer in 2003.
What was it called again, sorry?
It was called Carnival by Natalie Merchant.
Quite
This
a
is
fun
the song
song.
right here, yeah.
That's enough. I don't know it.
Yeah. Natalie Merchant said, when director Nick Broomfield sent a working edit of the film, I was so disturbed by the subject matter that I couldn't even watch it. Aileen Wuornos led a torturing life that is beyond my worst nightmares. It wasn't until I was told that Aileen spent many hours listening to my album Tiger Lily while on death row and requested Carnival to be played at her funeral that I gave permission for the use of the song.
Why do you have to give permission for someone to use your song at a private funeral?
Maybe it was filmed because it was on the. He's talking about
okay.
being at the end of the film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's very odd to think of the places my music can go, and it leaves my once it leaves my hands. If it gave her some solace, I have to be grateful.
Oh, that's nice.
I'd like to end on some words from Nick Broomfield, who said, I think this anger developed inside of her, and she was working as a prostitute. I think she had a lot of awful encounters on the road. And I think this anger just spilled out from inside her and finally exploded into incredible violence. That was her way of surviving. I think Aileen really believed that she had killed in self-defense. I think someone who's deeply psychotic can't really tell the difference between something that is life-threatening and something that is a minor disagreement. That you could say something that she didn't agree with. She would get into a screaming black temper about it, and I think that's what had caused these things to happen. And at the same time, when she wasn't in those extreme moods, there was an incredible humanity to her. By the time I met Aileen, she already had 4 death sentences. But surprisingly, in an odd way, I found her the most honest person involved in the case.
Oh, that's interesting.
All the others, her lawyer, her born-again Christian mother, the police, had all been involved in trying to sell her story for as much money as possible.
Even Arlene, who said, the whole reason I'm doing this is to give her the knowledge that someone loves her, she's part of a family.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also I want to make money from it.
Always made money out of her. I highly recommend Nick Broomfield's documentary, The Selling of a Serial Killer,
It's a great name as
well as the more recent Netflix documentary. And that, G, is a very complicated story of Aileen Wuornos.
Yeah, complicated is the perfect word to describe that. I still don't know what I believe.
No.
What do you think?
I think the most likely scenario is that because of her awful childhood, she felt alone, she felt constantly in danger, she felt betrayed by every single person. I feel like she maybe did have this hatred brewing away for men and I feel like maybe Richard Mallory could have done what she said that he did. Yes. She then had a taste of shooting someone, robbing them, and then maybe that got out of control. I mean, that to me seems like the most likely.
I think I agree. And there's very much just all our opinions on it. But I think for me it's hard to believe, or it's hard to reconcile with the idea that after years of hitchhiking and working as a sex worker, in the space of, what was it? My maths isn't good. Between May and December, killed 6 men in that time. Yeah, and that they were the only ones that had done. Yeah. That feels unbelievable to me.
Yes, it does. Yeah, and I think that's the thing. I think the short space of time when you look at that, you go, okay, so maybe she did. It kind of all got away from her.
And then maybe that, because you said after she killed Richard Mallory, you said they used his possessions to live, as in she and Ty, used selling off and pawning off his possessions to get by. Yeah. And maybe when they ran out of that money, she went, I could just do it again. Yeah. And maybe then that kicked off that kind of, well, why wouldn't I? Yeah. And that also feels like, and very much just my opinion, that feels like what I believe.
Yeah. I feel like that's what I
I
believe.
feel like that's what I believe that
Yeah.
might have happened.
There's also a thing, I remember in one of the documentaries, there is a part where she does talk about the fact that a few of them tried to rape her, not all of them.
Okay.
So I that could be a thing as well. Maybe a few did. Maybe there was an issue of consent with a few of them. Who knows? But not all of them is kind of what she said in that. And the families have spoken out quite a bit, saying there's no way. One of them's dad, who was who worked in the police, like he was with the Alabama police for a while. His daughter ended up coming out saying there was no way. He always liked to help people. He was looking for a damsel in distress. I know, but there's all these interviews with her throughout these documentaries, and she's saying that he always wanted to help people. So if you kind of look at that and go,
but you can always want to help someone, and then also have a moment where you've got a sex worker in your car, and you go, well, why not? Like, of course, I would think, of course, a daughter of a police officer would say he never would do that.
Sure.
And I, so you should believe that about your father. Doesn't mean that that's fact.
No. And I think that's why it is such a complicated story, because there is so much in it, and also the love of Ty. And
we won't know, because the only two people that knew what happened in each of the scenarios were someone who's not here anymore, and
we know that she killed them, and that's it.
Exactly. And even she was changing her stories.
Yeah.
Like backwards and forwards and upside down and everything.
Yeah. And she also had a falling out with Aileen Wuornos, if that's how you say it. I don't know how you say it. Yeah, there was some sort of falling out over time. I think
hang on, I'm interested in that.
As time went on, I think she did kind of realise that everyone was just telling her story. I think she did realise that she couldn't trust anyone.
Which is yucky.
Yeah, and she couldn't trust anyone either. Like, so many people came forward as well. Like, so many people wanted to be interviewed who knew her. There's even a guy who lived with her in the woods when she was really young, like 15 years old. That was like, yeah, I lived in the woods as well, and worked with her and showed photos of those two together.
Yuck. People are gross.
And because she was the first female serial killer in America, it was like people all just came forward.
I'm so surprised by that.
Yeah. I mean, by the United States definition, that's what. So for the FBI's
because
definition.
Because they've been like, I can't think of any examples. Maybe that's the point. There have definitely been women who've killed multiple husbands and stuff. What was that one I was listening to recently? Like the kind of original known as the Black Widow.
Yeah. I think it was the FBI's definition of what a serial killer was, and that she killed them in a sequential. Yes. I don't know what it was, but there was something to that. And everyone kind of knows the name Aileen. Like that's the thing.
And Monster. I feel like the movie Monster was made quite soon after.
Well, that's what. Yeah, if Ty sold the story, and there were quite a few different law officials.
Why is it Ty's story to sell? I don't understand that.
Because she was the first person that she was the closest to it. Aileen couldn't sell it, and she sold it out from under her.
But why do you have to? If it's on the public record, why does anyone?
I think she was like a consultant on it, because you get more information out of it.
Not
and
so
also,
much she sold the story, but she was.
But
paid
Ty
to
was in
work
the
with
film.
It.
I think her name is different in it, but an actor played Ty.
Yeah.
So I think it was like
she was
from
allowing
Ty's perspective,
and
it's.
I want to watch that movie again. I've watched it years ago. I don't really remember it.
Yeah, everyone just kind of praised how much Charlize Theron looked
like her,
and it is quite incredible. If you look at the makeup, you go, "Holy shit!" Like she does look a lot like her.
Yeah. And she looks so not like Charlize Theron.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I think the documentaries are so worth watching. I would recommend the Nick Broomfield documentary over the Netflix one.
Yeah, right.
I think the Netflix one is really interesting, but it is also quite skewed heavily one way. I think, you kind of need to watch the Nick Broomfield one to kind of go, oh, okay, well, he did have conversations with her.
I find that fascinating. I think as a journo, that would be my dream. My dream gig.
Yeah. She loved him as well.
Interviewing whether it's a serial killer or someone that's some kind of criminal, interviewing them one-on-one. I would find that so fascinating.
Well, the interviews are actually incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, they film it in a way where they're only allowed to bring one camera in.
Yes.
So it is quite interesting because they stay really close on her face the whole time. It's really tight. The camera's really shaky. And when she starts yelling, it is just brilliant. Like the way you watch it, you go, and I don't know why he wasn't kind of a Louis Theroux. I think he was for a while. I think he was kind of what we now see as Louis Theroux as that documentarian. He and John Ronson, in that way, have that weirder. It's even weirder than Louis Theroux. They kind of they do want to talk to people that I
find that
actually emailed Nick Broomfield about coming on and talking about. I don't know if he ever would. I feel like he would have been inundated with things since this came out because he was the first that did it, like Louis Theroux with Tiger King.
Yeah.
You know, like Louis Theroux interviewed Tiger King before Tiger King. And you know, and it's such a big story. There are apparently a lot of books about this as well that are really good. Like I kind of think, like, you know, her childhood friend that just published letters, it just feels so gross.
Oh, yeah, it is gross. It's all gross.
Yeah, it feels so gross to
and
just
it's not to say that anyone this happens to doesn't deserve it. Like, I'm saying, oh, that's gross, she didn't deserve that.
Yeah.
Perhaps you feel she did, but whether she deserved it or not, it's just a gross thing. Humans
It's
are
really gross. Yeah. And I think the Nick Broomfield documentary is incredible.
I want to go watch that now.
Yeah, it's so good. And it's just fascinating to go, oh, wow, this is it's hard to see her as a person, and I think that's because we call her a monster and we call her all these things.
But also even the, like, you know, when she took the stand, yelling and saying, you know, kind of swearing and calling everyone assholes and saying all this stuff, that doesn't help with the being able to just see her as like oh God, you're someone who's had an awful upbringing and that's affected you in this way. That's a very easy way for human nature to turn around and go, oh, yuck, you're not a good person.
Also think that, you know, the fact that she was yelling about, I hope that the judges' daughters get raped.
She's lost any kind of sympathy from me in saying that.
And you go, you know, if you have been through this, that is, you would not wish it on anyone else. Like that
No, but that's also like a huge majority of sex offenders have been offended against.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, that is the story of Aileen Wuornos. I would love to hear your thoughts on this case. It is a really interesting case.
It does feel like one of those ones that everyone's got a feeling or opinion about because it just feels like we still don't really know.
I found that about Oscar Pistorius too. Like it is interesting, different people's opinions on what they think happened.
And there are only two people involved and one of them is dead.
Yeah.
Who knows? We've also got to say about the Oscar Pistorius one, we've had lots of people thinking they're very funny, our listeners, and saying, and Ben Lawrence, you were one of them, and saying it's just I can't believe he's gone on to work for Red Bull and be an F1 champion driver after doing that. I will point out, yes, you're all very funny. Oscar Piastri Oh no, I just combined them. Oscar Piastri and Oscar Pistorius are two different people.
Very different people.
I just called them both Oscar Piastrius.
Are you ready for some letters today from our mailbag? This one comes from Jay Lee. Dear G Love and Sammy P, this is my first time ever giving a review or writing to a potty. But I love you guys so much, I just had to, all in caps.
Oh, good, because that also could have turned the other way and gone,
I know.
It's the first time ever, but I hate you so much I have to say something.
Was going to do a speak pipe, but was a bit nerve. I love your podcast so much. You're both incredibly hilarious, but also respectful to the victims. You share the story in such an interesting way. Georgia, I watched you on The Bachelorette and you rocked my world. You're the best thing that came out of reality TV.
Oh my God.
I love your little chats before getting into the dark stuff, and now I want to be your besties. I already think I am. And it's a laughing face, but it's a cat laughing face.
Oh, okay. See, she is my bestie.
My husband has never been into podcasts, but now he's so invested in every one of your shows.
Oh, that's nice.
He also loves any Melbourne references as he's an old St. Bede's boy.
Oh, wait. St. Bede's is the school across the road from mine that I did my School Musical.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. Jolie's husband, I went to Mental Girls Grammar.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I need to, Jolie, write back again, please. What year did your husband finish?
Oh, yeah.
Because I might have crossed paths with him.
And we know how much Melburnians love to talk about Melbourne.
Oh.
Thank you for...
I literally just went, I went to that school.
Thank you for making me literally laugh out loud while listening, but also sharing interesting stories. I'd love it if you shared the story of Daniel Morecambe. Oh. I was a young child when he went missing, and it was huge in Queensland. It changed our lives as kids, and I'd love to hear your take on it. I'm a school teacher now, and I think a day for Daniel is always such an incredible day to focus on child safety and voice such an important topic. Kind regards, Jay Lee.
Oh, Jay Lee, you are our bestie, officially. And I think that when you said that when Daniel Morecambe was was killed was when you were a child. So I think that perhaps your husband and I didn't cross paths at school because I'm an old lady. But I'd like to know.
Yeah, we want to know.
If he was around in the days of Greece, Les Mis, Romeo and Juliet at St. Bede's College.
This comes from Danielle. Hi, Sammy and Georgia. I hope you're both well. There was a point in the podcast this week where Sammy read out a text that Liz, as Carrie, sent to Dave that said she stole...
in the
Carrie Farver episode.
Yeah.
She stole my heart, she stole my dreams, she stole my future when she took you away. The text is in fact the chorus lyrics of the 2007 song I'll Kill Her by Soko.
Oh, I don't know that song, but the way you just read it then sounded like a song.
Yeah, by the song from the point of view of an extremely jealous woman to her ex's new girlfriend.
2007 song. Do you remember off the top of your head the year that the Carrie Farver thing happened?
No, I don't.
Before or after that? Was she quoting the song? Or
I think she was quoting
the
the song.
Quoting her?
Well, I don't know. I think she was quoting the song, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I'm going to look that up.
So as well as murder, stalking, harassment and arson.
Diggs is literally on my phone. I can't get it.
We can add plagiarism to our list of crimes too.
Oh, okay, there we go. That's answered that.
What a truly wild case. Keep up the great work. Much love, Danielle.
Oh, Danielle, that's great little tidbit.
Isn't that good? I like that a lot. You ready for a voice message?
Yes.
Hey guys, I think this is my second time leaving a speak pipe. I'm Cara. I just wanted to say, the pod is just getting even better every week. I wanted to provide a suggestion. Listening to all the Perth stories has been very interesting, and I was thinking about crimes in my own city. I used to live in Adelaide, so we're a little bit spoiled for choice and murder overseas, I guess. But I now live in Canberra. Could be very boring for crimes, but I remembered a really great book I read a few years ago now, Joe Sink's Consolation by Helen Garner, and I thought that could be a good one for you guys. It's a very devastating and interesting crime. The story is heartbreaking, but it's not actually one that I see a lot of on true crime podcast. So I thought that it would be really great to hear that story from your perspective. Yeah, keep up the good work. Love it. Bye, guys.
Oh, my God. Thank you. Another Helen Garner book.
Yeah.
So Helen Garner was the one that wrote this House of Horrors about...
House of Grief.
House of Grief. Well, there's Freudian slip by me. About Robert Farquharson. And that has reminded me that, Sammy, I forgot to give you an update. ABC Radio did the 100 greatest books of all time. Not Australian books, 100 top books of all time. This House of Grief by Helen Garner was on the list.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
And my favourite book of all time, Trent Dalton's Boy Swallows Universe, number one.
Oh, of course it bloody was. But yeah, I highly recommend anything by Helen Garner. So we have to do that as a story because that sounds incredible.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, there we go. You were saying, I couldn't believe how amazing this book was. Same with all of Australia. It was one of the top 100 books of all time.
Oh, my God.
And Harry Potter and Twilight and stuff, they're on the list. It's not just most popular books now. It's yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's great, Cara. Thank you so much. We're gonna let's look into that.
We have to do.
You
that.
just now have another excuse to listen to to read another Helen Garner book that you love.
Thank you, everybody, as always, for leaving us little things in our mailbag. You can write into Sammy at justanothercompany.com.au. You can leave us a voicemail, aka a speak pipe. That's the website that it's on. All the links are in the show notes.
You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Not Another Crime Podcast. You can send us gifts, like physical, parcels of gifts.
Leave a 5-star rating, leave a 5-star review.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious, we would love that.
What kind of gift would you like, Sammy?
I would like, I just actually got the most beautiful Miss Piggy portrait in the world. I would like more Miss Piggy merch because
Miss Piggy merch, that's a great
loves little
Dig
bits of
pigs.
he loves pigs. He loves pigs
Diggs
so much.
loves pigs.
He loves pigs so much. So yeah, thank you to Oliver Clark as
You don't
always
ask me
for doing.
what gift I want from the
what
listeners?
What gift do you want?
Jewelry.
Okay, shaped as Miss Piggy. Something like that.
A necklace in the shape.
Oh, that would
of
have actually been
Miss Piggy.
incredible.
That's beautiful.
Thank you to Oliver Clark, as always, for doing the theme music. Thank you to Tamsin Hayes for doing the artwork.
And
can I
thank you to Sam Peterson for doing that story this week.
Thank you so much. And as always, our Thursday treats, go and look at those as well because they are so bloody fun.
I'm
at the
really
moment.
excited. I really loved a lot of the recent ones.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but yeah, we've got some really exciting guests coming up too.
Yeah, absolutely.